Hello everyone, welcome back to Angela's Craft Room. Today I thought I'd do a tutorial on this new stamp set that was released by Stampin' Up this year in June 2016. It's called In This World, and it really caught my eye when it was just so unusual. Just trying to get the glare off there for you. Yeah, I just had to have this stamp set. I really didn't know how I was going to use it, but it was just so unusual that I just had to have that one. And this is the first card I've come up with. So I've done a lot of background sponging, which I'll show you. That is in Pear Pizzazz. And then I've also used Early Espresso, being more of the dark colours around the edges, and also Sahara Sand. It's a little bit of Sahara Sand there. And believe it or not, this lace is the very vanilla lace, and I'll show you how I changed that colour to make it tone in with the card so it looked more of an antique card. So we'll get started. So first of all, the very first thing you're going to need is a piece of cardstock that measures 11 inches by 4 1/8 and scored at 5.5. Okay, so I've already cut my piece here and with my bone folder, done that. So that's the first step. Then the top panel, which is in Smoky Slate, it's 5 3/8 of an inch by 4 inches. Right. So we're just going to adhere that onto our top panel just with some snail. And my voice is a bit croaky. I don't have the flu, but it's just had a sore throat a few days ago, and it's just left me with a bit of a croaky voice. So I do apologise for that. So I like to use my grid paper and line up my card so I can get it as straight as possible. Just putting the top piece down first, as I always say. So I can see where it's sitting at the sides and at the bottom. It's not exactly... I'm such a perfectionist, it's my problem. So I'll just give it one more try. Just didn't like where it was sitting at the bottom. Just needs to come up a little bit. Sides and down. It's better. So that's your top panel. And then your inside panels, exactly the same, 5 3/8 by 4 inches. But I always stamp my inside first. Which side? That side. So I'm just going to use this image here first. So just put that onto my acrylic block. And then I'm just going to use some rich raspberry. Now, because it's the inside of the card, I'm going to stamp off, because rich raspberry is... I always like to try and... I just test it on my grid paper, but seeing it's inside, I would stamp off just have it off my card a bit like that. I'm just really loving this stamp set. I have done a couple of cards using it. I think it's going to be one of those stamp sets that I'm going to have to make myself not use all the time. I'm just going to do a border around here. Like that, so it's like that. Just wipe that into my cleaner because we'll need that for the front of the card. Okay, then we're going to grab, I'm just going to grab and my square block, where are you? There. And just put it on straight as possible. It's only it's the inside. I just like to have something on the inside. So I might go full strength with this one. And might just go a little bit into the border, straight down and up like that. So then I'm just going to apply that with my snail. I just like to finish off my cards as I go, so I prefer to do the inside as well, and then they're ready to go. So just lining that up again on my grid paper. Like that. Then I just wipe it down like that, so if I've got ink on my hands it's not going to transfer to the card. So that's the inside. That's the inside done. It's very effective, isn't it? So then we need our second panel that's going to go onto our card, which is 5 1/4 by 3 7/8, and we're just going to apply that again with some snail. I do like my layering on my cards of the different colours. Once again with my grid paper, just line that up onto one of the rows. See how lucky I am getting this to line up for me. So like that, pretty happy with that. So that's that. Now I'm going to take a piece of shimmery white cardstock, which measures 5 inches by 3.5 inches, and that's going to be your front piece. Now I'll just pop that rich raspberry away for a minute, and I'm going to get some pear pizzazz. Now I just want to show you, I have pre-sponged a piece, but it is quite dark, but sorry, but that's all right. Now I'm just going to stamp into the ink pad, and I always stamp off a bit. And what I like to do is start off, and I'm hardly touching the card, and I like to go along the edges first. So it doesn't have to be perfect, because with this, the edges is actually going to have rich raspberry on it. And when you've hardly got any ink, you can just go a bit harder and go into the centre, because the piece that I sponged prior, I just think it's a bit, I'll show it to you, but I think it's just a bit dark. And it's just up to you how much ink you want to add. So I'll just try, see, I really put too much there. That's because I'm trying to rush the tutorial. But sponging is one of those techniques that you've really got to take your time doing it. Like, I should do a tutorial for you just how I do, because it can take me a good 20 minutes just to do my sponging. I mean, I wouldn't panic, like, if that sort of thing happened to you and you've got too much ink on, because, you know, it just adds to the technique and the texture. It doesn't have to be perfect all the way over. But as I've said before, I do find using the shimmery white cardstock that it's a lot better than just the ordinary cardstock. I don't know if it's the glitter in the cardstock, but I just find it's a lot easier to sponge onto. So you can see that the colour's coming up. So, and as I say, we're gonna stamp Rich Raspberry on here, which is quite a vibrant colour. So once I've got most of it off, and you just have to keep adding until you're happy with it. I'm not really fussed at the moment about the edges, because I know that I'm going to put Rich Raspberry on that, and it's going to be it's going to cover that. So this one's turning out just to be about as dark as the other one. So, but you get the idea how I hold the sponge, and you just start off by tapping and bringing it in. I've just about finished this one. So just want some more in the middle there, just to cover up a couple of imperfection spots that I'm not really happy with. So I would I would continue and play with that a little bit, but I'm going to set it aside and use the piece that I've pre-stamped. So I'm just going to turn that over so I don't get the ink on me. So this is the piece that I pre-did for the card. So using the rich raspberry and that border one that we used to do the inside of the card, I'm going to stamp that up in rich raspberry. And we're going to do a border all the way around. Now I'm not stamping off, but I do want it to be completely on the card. So we're just going to go all the way around, and because you've sponged underneath, it doesn't have to be exact. This is actually a smaller piece of cardstock than I did for my original card. So I hope my big head's not getting in the way. So and don't worry if you overlap the other stamped image as you're going round the corner. So just clean off my stamp straight away and set that aside. Then we're going to take the butterfly, and he's just going to go right in there, also in rich raspberry. On the original card, I didn't do all the layers of cardstock. So I had a big, larger area to create the card. Just clean that stamp off. So you can see once you've done the sponging, that's really the big thing with this set. Now, I'm going to use my decorative label punch, and I've already stamped, just to save a little bit of time, I've already stamped the image out. You're the kind of person who makes a positive difference in the world. It's a lovely saying. So you just got to make sure, this is how I punch them out. I have the stamp upside down, and then you're not going to see, but I just so it's pretty straight, then just punch it out like that. And then also what I do, this is a corresponding colour obviously, and then I just line it up halfway. Right, so the top half, and then I'm going to line up well, you can just do 2 like that. It doesn't really matter because we're going to clip. So like that. And then what I do is I grab my scissors and just see how you've got these little points here. I just clip them off like so, which I've already done on these 2 that I've pre-cut. And then I just add some tear and tape. Just peel that off. And then it's just going to add another colour behind your, that was smart, smoky slate. That's a better idea. Have it like that. Then you get the other piece. I just use a pair of tweezers to, I found that it was destroying my nails by, and you pop that piece down. Use your grid paper. And just line that up and see, like, it's just, you're just cutting, you're just doing the 2. And then this is going to be interesting because this is smaller. I might even have to go off the edge a little bit with this one. I could have made this shimmery white piece a bit bigger to give me more area. But see, I think what I'll do is, once I've stuck it down, we'll just add it up there. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you was, this is the new, what is it, Very Vanilla lace trim. So this is a way that you can get, using the Very Vanilla, I'm just trying to see which is the right side. That's another thing. Yeah. So what I normally do is I just get the Very Vanilla like that. I did it with the early espresso, and I just stamp. And actually what I might do is use this corner one and just wipe it along like that. I mean, you mightn't like this technique, but that's fine. Everyone's different, but this is just, I think it just gives the card a bit more character, because it is a vintagey looking card, and to put Very Vanilla lace on just wouldn't meet the theme. So I'll just, so we could have that one there, and we'll just take another piece. That, turn it around. I think it's a better idea using the stamp to do it, because I did ink up these pads very well with the rich raspberry. Now, to add that to your card, we're not going to stick it down the front. What we're going to do is just sort of see where you want it, turn it over, and we need just to add a bit of tear and tape. Actually, I might just do it straight across, it's just easier. So on there, we're just going to have to be careful that we don't stick it down. So then we're going to sort of put it where we want it. Bring it down a bit. Then just let it grab onto that tear and tape at the back. And then, because I find if you put the tear and tape under the lace, you can see it, and it really spoils the card. And I've done that a little bit crooked. So like that, and I've got to be careful I don't want that to stick onto there. So then I'm going to put this down to there. See what I mean? Sticks to the, so we want it to go, we want another piece of tear and tape on the back. And I'm sorry that this tutorial has gone quite long, but I think I really wanted to show you a few different techniques in this. So that, like that, and then you want to make sure it's nice and straight going the other way, and then let it grab to the tear and tape at the back. So that's pretty close. Then what we'll do is, right, so then just using your snail, we're just going to attach this panel. So just line it up on your grid paper. Make sure you're opening it the right way. And then I'm going to apply that as straight as I possibly can. I just recommend you use this grid paper, it's just wonderful. So that's the card so far. So then what we're going to do is add the sentiment, and it doesn't matter that it goes off this panel, it just adds more dimension to your card. So we need some tear and tape, not tear and tape, dimensionals, and I think I didn't put them on the table before I started. Sorry about that, that was quick, wasn't it? So we just put them on there, one in the middle for good measure, and just peel these off. So I've shown you a couple of different techniques today and a couple of little tricks. But I hope you will get this stamp set, because I really don't think you'll be disappointed, because it's just one of those stamp sets that's a bit different. So I'm just popping it in the corner, pressing the dimensionals down. Then I'm just going to add, now even though these metal rims are, they do have adhesive on the back, when you're sticking them to lace you will need, and I did it before I came on camera, I added a little bit of tear and tape on the back. They're very good, they're very adhesive if it's just going on paper, but if you're going to put it on lace, you do need to apply some tear and tape to the back of that. Now what's left to do is we're just going to, using the fine tip glue, which I just love, I'm just going to put a couple of dobs down. And I'm just going to add some of these sequins. The fine tip glue is just fabulous for adding the sequins. I wouldn't try and add them any other way ever again. If I could just pick them up with the tweezers, have them round, have them on the right way. So I might just put one up there. And you just drop it onto the fine tip glue, because by the time you finish the card it'll really be glued with the fine tip. The fine tip glue is very adhesive, it's very strong glue. See, that first one I did, that's fine. And I might just put one there and one down there, just to even it out a little bit. And they're slippery little devils. So one there. I should just tip them out. It's looking pretty good with the, just saw a little bit of glue there. I always have a cotton bud on hand. I use them quite a lot. And I don't really think it needs anything else. So getting all my rubbish out of the way, and how inked my grid paper is pretty inked up, but just to try and show you nicely the finished card. There you go. If I could get it straight. Sorry. So there we go. So yeah, give those techniques a try, And if you've got any questions, just leave it at the bottom in the comments. But that is the new stamp set in this world, and I would highly recommend it. Okay, well, thank you for spending some time today with me, and I do apologise for the tutorial going a little bit too long with my sponging, but I do appreciate you subscribing to my channel, and I look forward to the next tutorial with you.